A serious Christian desires to be led by God. The process is similar with human leaders. The 5 principles a human leader would like for success from their workers is for them to be one with him or her by understanding what he or she wants, feeling joy through the work, accepting possible risks, and confidently following his or her direction and giving credit to their leadership. To further follow God, it's helpful to consider which of these basic principles might be your strength and which one you should be working on. I had the privilege in the late 1980s at St. Mary's of hearing Father Bob Bedard preach deep teachings on these 5 fundamentals that help parishioners follow God. It led as well to producing many local and even international ministries. As shown in the book, Permission Granted, St. Mary's was one of the most successful Catholic parishes in North America over the last 50 years. The second fundamental is joy. You will be more effective if you have joy in your leader. Here is Father Bob's teaching on having joy with our work through God. Father Bob said, "The Lord wants his people to be a people of joy." He taught to actively develop your joy through a connection with God rather than simply to accept joy when it comes to you. This is what he preached.
There's nothing like the joy that can take hold of our lives. In spite of adverse circumstances and difficulties, there's nothing like the joy that can take hold of our lives when we are living in God's kingdom, and we can do that. There's nothing like the freedom. There's nothing like the abundance of life. Jesus said, he called it the pearl of great price. He said, do you think other things are valuable? Do you think a lot of money is a great thing? Well, sure it is, but the kingdom of God is greater. Do you think lots of friends and a good name and reputation are good things? Of course they are, but the kingdom of God is better than that.
Father Bob encouraged us to actively develop our joy, even if we feel that we are committed to God. He preached,
I guess the totally and completely saved person is one who is absolutely full of peace and joy. Jesus promised those things. He said, I have come to give you a peace that the world does not understand. I have come that your joy might be full. I have come to bring you life and that you may live it to the full. I have come to set you free. Are we all right there? Are you perfectly joyful all the time? I know I'm not. I know when I get up in the morning, I am not perfectly joyful. I just simply am not. I'm not very, very pleasant to live with all the time. Things get me down, too. I am not perfectly joyful. I am not always perfectly at peace. I am not full of love. I am really not. Well, if I'm not, then I'm not totally saved yet. But I'm going to be. I am going to be. I am in process. Salvation is a process.
St. Mary's Parish was actively involved in joy. They often sang the song, Shout to the Lord, a Protestant song developed by Hillsong Worship, although most Catholic churches only sang Catholic songs. Here are some lyrics from the song. I sing for joy at the work of your hands. Forever I'll love you, forever I'll stand. Nothing compares to the promise I have in you. Another example of bringing joy to members at St. Mary's was this talk from Father Bob about parishioner Chris Keys, a young man who is now a leader at the Catholic Christian Outreach, a university student movement.
Finally, one young man surfaced a year ago, August, and said something like, I have a kind of vision or idea, I forget the word he used, for a young adults program. And I said, okay, let's hear what it is. And he said something that appealed to me because he was talking about encouraging the young adults to open their hearts to God so that God could touch their hearts and their lives and change them. I said, I'll buy it. That's it right on. Go for it, you know. So I stepped back and let him go for it. And he called a lot of his friends, and they called some other friends, and they got 40 young adults in here, mostly people in their 20s. And they started. And it worked. It has worked. All those programs and strategies and so on, and the formats and the books and everything else, didn't work. And this worked. Because some of the young adults, many of them, began to open up their lives to God, and He was touching their lives and turning them around. And in rather short order, within a couple of months, we had a small army of young people who were on fire for God. And they knew what real fun was. And out of that group has come, for the most part, the other ministries to youth, the teenagers, the young disciples, as we call the boys and the girls, and the children's program. And they're all based on the same principle, that God will touch a life if the person invites Him in. And that's what's happening. And it works.
Joy is vital, both for you personally and for helping others joyfully get involved with God. As Father Bob said, it's the saints that have the most fun.